Alright everybody, this is Go Geronimo, and we're going to continue on with the red oak bow build along, and this is where we ended up. I said I was going to leave you two putting that last coat over the top after the first coat dried, and now we're going to clean this up. We're going to take off the fiberglass and we're going to sandpaper a lot of this, take off all of the corners, the rough edges. Everything's going to be round and smooth after this video. I'm going to use a razor blade to go ahead and cut all of the edges off. Alright. Don't be stupid like me, use gloves. You're going to be itchy. So I got the tips off, or the fiberglass that's over the tips kind of cut off right here. And I'm going to start taking the sides off. It's pretty easy once you get moving. You want to make sure that you don't cut into the wood at this portion. It's kind of easy to do. So don't worry about getting too close in. You can use your rasp or whatever you have, sandpaper with wood block or whatever, to get further in. Alright, so we got all the fiberglass cut off the edges. Mostly. We can use our Sureform. I like to use my Sureform at this position or at this area. Get the rest of this off just by rubbing the Sureform over it a couple times. Makes pretty quick work of it. Alright, got the fiberglass cleaned off of the edges. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go over the top with a Sureform to get it nice and level, as much as the Sureform can go. And then I'm going to use sandpaper and smooth it the rest of the way flat. Alright everybody, so after I used the Sureform and smoothed it out as much as I could with this, we're going to go with this high-tech equipment, the piece of wooden block and sandpaper. That's right. I'm going to smooth it down the rest of the way and use a 60. I'm not going any further than a 60 because I'm going to be spray painting it a camo. And if you wanted to, you know, you could go to a 1 something, a 100 something, a 200, a 300, wet it down, use a wet dry sandpaper with 1000 grit or something, and really get that clear look if you wanted to. But we're not doing that today. I'm going to go ahead and put this mask on because fiberglass in the air and breathing it in probably isn't that smart. Alright. You can just use a regular mask, but I don't have one, so I'm using this thing. Maybe overkill. Alright, so I got the back nice and sandpapered down, level, and then I still have these little weird areas on my tip. Okay, just use your 4-way and work that out. Alright, alternatively, you could have just used a bench sander if you have one with a rotating disc and just fed it on the flat side, and that would work a lot faster. But remember, with power tools, sometimes you can go too far, which means you can go into the wood further than you were wanting to. So hand tools are a lot safer in my opinion. Now we're going to start rounding everything off. I'm going to use this large leaf for that. Okay, real quick, sorry for the bad drawing, but we're going to go and draw a line on the back of the bow where the belly is going to taper to. Alright, I'll show you what that means in a little bit, but let's go ahead and draw that line. We're going to go 1/4 from the back of the bow. We also have a tip overlay here. Okay, but we're talking about 1/4 from the back of the bow, not including the tip overlay. We're going to draw a line. Okay, so now we have a line drawn 1/4 from the back of the bow upwards, all the way across. Alright guys, now this is the tip. If you were looking at it in that direction, alright? Here's that 1/4 line. We're going to take the belly, this is the belly portion, and we're going to use the shore form or whatever other form you want to use of taking wood or stock off of the bow. You use sandpaper, or you can use your table sander, whatever you have. Dremel works. I don't recommend it, but you can use it. And you're going to be rounding this corner, or these corners, all the way to the 1/4 inch line. Okay? All the way. Okay, so it's going to be rounded instead of flat. Hopefully that gives you a visual of what you're doing on the belly of the bow. Okay? Just remember, the further you get closer to the handle, which is this, okay, the closer you get to the handle block, the more wood you're going to have to take off to get that rounded corner. And that's okay. You want to do it all the way back. Alright, got my 1/4 inch mark, and I'm going to go ahead and start rounding that belly. One recommendation I can give to you at this point is take a vice grip and lock your bow down to the table. Makes it a lot easier. You don't want to tighten it too hard to where you're going to put a circle or a dent into your bow, but you just want to get it strong enough to where it just holds in place. Now you can work the belly of the bow without it sliding all over the place. Here we have the back of the bow. Alright. Let's see, it's going to be opposite. It's going to be like this. Here's the tip overlay. Here's the back of the bow. Here's our taper on the belly. We're also going to round the back of the bow up just a little bit so that it prevents it from splintering. And I'm talking about just sight. Just that much throughout the whole length of the back of the bow. Okay, just rounding off the corners just a little bit. So let's sandpaper, or let's round the back of the bow real quick. Alright, so I wanted to do a close-up to try to kind of take away from the anxiety or the confusion of this portion, where we round the belly and the back of the bow. If you can see here, you notice that most of that 1/4 inch line from the back of the bow is gone, and it's just worked upwards. Now, towards the back, we have to taper towards the handle. So about right where my finger is, I start raising away from that 1/4 inch up towards that handle. Alright, so you need to do that. If you notice on the top, it is still pretty much flat. And that's how the finish of this type of bow is going to be. Just a little flat. Alright, in the back of the bow, you'll notice it's a lot more, I guess, less aggressive of a rounding on the corner here. If you look down though, you do notice that there is definitely some rounding on both sides, and a little bit of the fiberglass taken away, and that's fine as well. That's how it should look at this portion. You want to do both sides the same way. So after you've rounded the belly and the back of the bow, we're going to do one last thing in preparation for tillering the bow, and we're going to go ahead and put the temporary string nocks. They're temporary because later on you're going to finish them up, you're going to make them look nice. But let's go back to the whiteboard here. Here is your tip overlay, as if you were looking at it in this direction, okay? You want to draw a line. I usually use 1/2 or 3/4. Both of those work for me. From the very tip. Draw a line there, and I'll start working with the round file. Get that line on here. Sometimes you can use the big one to do the big work, and then get deeper in with the smaller type round file if you have one. Because you really want to get this nice and low where it's not gonna, the string's not gonna slip out while you're trying to tiller it. Cause your bow to bounce up and hit you in your face. It's just a mess. I broke 2 noses. Just kidding. Alright. Now, for the next drawing right here, you have this tip overlay sideways as if you were looking at it in this direction. Okay? We've already got our little notch cut out. And now we're going to continue on with that notch on the side of the bow. But we're going to go at an angle. The reason for that is when your bow is strung, okay, when your bow's strung, you have a string through it. It's at an angle at the tip of the bow. It's not like this. It's not a 90-degree. So we're going to cut in, or not cut in, but file in at an angle. Just like that one. And I don't have a measurement for what angle. I just make sure that there's a good nice angle on there. Okay.
Alright, so here is what your temporary string nocks should somewhat look like. You want to get deep enough in there to where your string's not going to fall out. I'd probably get a little bit deeper on this one, but basically this is what it should look like.
Alright everybody, at this point we have rounded the back of the bow, rounded the belly of the bow, both sides as equal as possible, and we have put the temporary string nocks on there. Two things you need to do before the next video. If you haven't made your tillering tree, you need to do that. That's the video right here. And if you haven't checked out my how to make a Flemish bowstring with timber hitch, go ahead and check that video out right here. So the next video is of tillering the bow, which is really difficult to explain, hard to show. Sometimes people need to just try it to get the feel of it. Bust a couple of bows, figure out what you did, don't do it next time, try something different. But I'm going to do the best I can to explain it as best as possible. So it's going to take a little bit to get to that next video. In the meantime, I'll have a couple of different videos I'll throw in there. But just be patient because I'm going to do the best I can. Thanks for watching. Go Geronimo. Please visit me at gogeronimo.com where I put all of these informational videos so you can find me easier. I really do appreciate the clicks, the support. Keep on subscribing. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.